What's up, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. You're beautiful, and I love you. If you like the Tobin and Leroy radio show, which we do 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, check out the WQAM YouTube channel over there. Go subscribe. Subscribe to the Porpoise Pod. Interesting Heat nuggets to get to regarding the health of the team. So Brian Windhorst from ESPN, he has a report or a riff that he had on his Hoop Collective podcast on Victor Oladipo. And, obviously it's been a little bit concerning. Victor Oladipo hasn't played. You got a little bit of a hint of him in the preseason, but it's been a slow go for Vic. And that I don't think was the thought process going into this year, obviously. He supposedly had an offseason that was filled with just getting ready for basketball, and he appears to be dealing with something, a tendonitis in his knee. That is not the one that he had surgery on, but according to Brian Windhorst, he had said, quote, "I don't believe that he's anywhere close. They haven't put a timetable on it, but I was kind of led to believe that it ain't happening in the near future," which is concerning because this is a man who has really been trying to work his way back from injury for a while now, and everybody thought that he was going to be in the spot where, all right, this is going to be a good year for him. He can reestablish himself. There wasn't much of a free agent market for him. And in fact, the deal, I remember it ended up getting switched because there was people thought they were doing some cap jiu-jitsu possibly for a big time trade, which did not for now come to fruition. But yeah, I'm disappointed because this guy has obviously been coming back from a quad, had a butchered surgery, had to rehab it again. And then by the end of last year, here's the thing that's crazy about it. By the end of last year was playing, pretty healthy minutes, pretty hefty minutes, I should say, in the playoffs, and that being after he was out of the rotation. Remember that whole Skip Bayless, thing about, Jimmy told Spo, "I'm not going to share the court with Vic." And for them to be in this spot is scary. I think it is scary because, and I'm not really. I know Vic had some lofty stuff that he was saying going into this. He had said something to the effect of that I believe I could be better than the player that I was. You said, you think you can come back stronger than what you were. For sure. Do you feel that in rehab? Do you feel yourself? I'm like, oh, it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, I don't limit myself at all in life, period. So I don't see why I can't be better than I was. And I don't believe it's gonna happen overnight, and I don't believe that it's gonna be easy, but I believe it can get done. So I feel better than I've felt in the last 4 years, and I'm still getting better. So just got to continue to keep doing that, and the chips will fall where they may.
For right now, you're really just hoping that you can get somebody to bottle up and fill that role that Tyler was gonna bring, and that somebody's going to really man that 6-man spot, because right now they feel like they have good pieces. They're also trying to work out, the right way to stagger guys. I think we definitely saw that in the Kings game, in the Warriors game, and a little less so in the Kings game because it was pretty much no Jimmy. So that's going to free some things up as far as how you have to do some of that stuff. But they're definitely working some roles out on this team. And so then you think about the idea, well, if Vic's going to have a major role, then how long is it going to be to work him into it? It's concerning. It is. And, sometimes you just wonder about these guards, if something is wrong with it, can they ever get back to what they are? So much of his game was built on athleticism and length and, getting to the rim and getting free throws and, being able to stand in front of everybody. And, if you don't have a Victor Oladipo who's top notch, then I don't know. Now, the fan base isn't going to want to hear oh, well, Victor Oladipo is going to be our trade acquisition at the deadline this year. They work, hoping that this would be a full year project and that maybe Vic can be that missing key piece. That was really what was, I think, sold to the fan base of, quote unquote, running it back. Well, we're running it back, but we've never really had Victor Oladipo healthy, and now it doesn't seem like you do. So that's definitely a disappointing thing. Also on the injury front, Jimmy Butler, the injury report came out. He's not making the trip to Indiana. Still dealing with his hip. I think this is Jimmy Butler's always going to miss his 15 to 20 games per year with little knick-knack injuries. I think this is a thing with him where You know how hard he plays and the kind of fury that he plays with. And I almost think in a weird way, this may sound a little odd, but I almost think that it's a good thing. We saw that one of the things that was interesting with the Heat last year. Let me reverse this for a second. Obviously, you always want Jimmy Butler playing, point blank, period. But it's a long regular season, and I do think that you are trying to mesh a foursome in that starting unit with Jimmy, Tyler, Bam, Kyle. What is everybody's role? Are they going to get enough touches? And I think the thing that was interesting about the Kings game is, man, everybody of those three, they all really had such key roles in the fourth quarter. Those get shrunk when there's another star guy out there. Same thing with the Warriors game. You know, no Tyler Hero. We saw some other guys flourish because you didn't have to give touches to Tyler Hero usage. Not saying one thing's good or positive for the other because Tyler went and won the game against the Kings, you know, took that fourth quarter on his back, basically. But with these guys all working out their roles and just having those reps and comfort of maybe being in a little bit more of a natural position where they don't have to sit idly by on the sidelines and you know, just basically like say, all right, your turn, let's figure this out. I do think that, especially with some of the competition coming up, you know, Pacers, Hornets, if Jimmy Butler needs a night off, give him the night off because, one, you always are going to want that guy finely tuned for the playoffs. He's always going to miss his handful of games. But also, I do think that this frees things up for – we saw some things of this last year with the team. This frees things up for Kyle and for Jimmy this frees things up for Tyler and Bam to kind of work together and kind of run the team on their own a little bit. This does free up Kyle Lowry to get some more shots. Bo was talking about this yesterday after the game about the idea that he feels like Kyle Lowry hasn't really lost anything offensively. It's just a matter of he's being unselfish. And we saw that he hit some monster shots in that fourth quarter against the Kings as well. So while nobody wants your star player out, with this many games still to go and everybody's still trying to figure out roles, I do think it's good that maybe there are some like little showcase games for Tyler Bam, Jimmy Kyle, you know, Tyler and Kyle, all that. Like, it's almost like a health staggering, if you will. And I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because I do feel like if everybody kind of has their moments, you hope that it all can kind of come together. And, you know, last year, one of the things that was interesting is Bam had a serious injury. That kept him out for a while. Then you had Jimmy missing a lot of time with his knick-knack injuries. Then you had Kyle missing time because of personal reasons. So all of those guys really did have significant stretches of the season where they weren't out there. So there wasn't this clutter. Now, unfortunately, in the playoffs, health basically took Tyler and Kyle out for a lot of it. So you obviously don't want that to be the case. But I think for, you know, we're talking not even 10 games into the season yet. This I don't think is the worst thing in the world that Jimmy Butler may miss a game here or there. Obviously, the Victor Oladipo news to me is much more concerning than Jimmy Butler. Oh, Jimmy Butler's out with a hip. Good. Let him rest it up. Have him come back against the Portland Trailblazers. No need for him to go travel to Indiana. You should go beat Indiana without Jimmy Butler. That's just flat out the truth. Indiana is not very good. You have a lot more talent than them. You know the old saying: if you have Jimmy, if you have Kyle, Bam, Tyler, and the bench squad that you do have that's healthy, that should be good enough. Go out there. It's never usually, you know, listen, Indiana's never an easy place to play. You got that wacko with the flamingo in the stands. But that being said, talent-wise, you should be able to go get that done and even up your record because, man, it'd be nice to just kind of get even Steven and feel like a clean slate going into a big-time homestand and getting things right there.